From the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Missouri, SportsChannel presents New York Arrows Soccer. Tonight, the New York Arrows meet the St. Louis Steamers in Game 4 of this best-of-5 Major Indoor Soccer League Championship Series. This was the scene this past Friday, May 21st, Game 3. Shep Messing saving the day for the Arrows in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. The score deadlocked at 8-8. Stupendous exhibition of goalkeeping by Shep, turning away shot after point-blank shot, keeping the Arrows' hopes alive, sending the contest into overtime. And then 4:13 into the extra session. Franz Zlatar gets it over to Steve Jungle. He puts it behind Slobo Ilieski. The Arrows pull it out 9-8. The celebration is on as a playoff record crowd of 18,160 went home disappointed. And hello again, everybody. I'm Steve Albert along with Nick Zlatar. And welcome back to the Checkerdome here in St. Louis. Big crowd on hand. Game 4. The Arrows lead the championship series 2-1. A victory tonight. They wrap up their fourth consecutive MISL title. Do you anticipate the same level of intensity as we had in Game 3?
I think so, especially in the early going of the game. We'll have to wait for the story to unfold, but the goosebumps are up.
Well, I'll tell you what. The series living up to its expectations as a dream matchup. There have been 2 overtime games. 2 of the 3 have been extra session games, but St. Louis winning in New York winning in St. Louis, so I guess you can throw that home field advantage right out the window.
When the good teams meet, we saw what happened earlier today in Boston and against the Philadelphia 76ers. And you know, an interesting fact, New York has never lost in the Checkerdome.
And a playoff record crowd the other night of 18,160. Of course, they expect another standing room only crowd here tonight. But if anything, the noise level seems to motivate the visiting New York Arrows, and particularly the scoring machine, Steve Jungle, who seems to thrive on the adversity. He loves the crowd booing him.
Well, I don't know if he loves the crowd booing him. He loves to silence them. And the only way and the best way to do that is by punishing them and scoring goals. No one can do it better than Steve. He has 40 goals in the playoff history of the previous 3 years, and including this season.
I think the key to the Arrows' success, of course, is the depth. When they shadow a fellow like Steve Jungle, another guy like Omar Gomez gets on the loose. Then when they key on Omar Gomez, somebody else gets loose, so it's like trying to plug up the dike for the St. Louis Steamers.
Exactly. Juan Carlos Mejia came through, scored a couple goals in the playoffs. Franz Zlatar came through. Omar Gomez, Paul Kitson had 2 the other night. So yes, of course, the supporting cast is the best of the New York Arrows. But now for the Steamers, they have to get some of the total production. Kyle Rose, the defender, has done well for them. Glavin was superb so far against the New York for the Steamers. Ilieski, the goalkeeper, has been dynamite. I don't know how long he can go on to maintain that pace. But at the same time, the defenders for the Steamers have to come through and get into the attack a little bit more.
Are there any Nick Zlatar vibrations as we enter this Game 4? You have some kind of a reading on the final outcome as you look into your crystal ball?
I think tonight's game will make the 1981-82 season history.
Very diplomatic. What about this crowd? It has been just simply sensational. Soccer in St. Louis is unbelievable.
Yes, it is, but not just the fact that they play the soccer here, they come out and support it. Very avid. We saw last time we went out to dinner and people heard that we support the Arrows. We weren't the best light customers in the restaurant, but this is a super sports town, and soccer has taken a hold. They love their Steamers. Their banners fly all over the place. As of yesterday morning, only 1,800 tickets were available, and they went very quickly.
And there were about 1,000 people after the game on Friday, and this is after a defeat. The Arrows prevailing 9-8 in overtime. Had to be about 1,000, a throng, waiting down outside by the locker room as if Rudolph Valentino was going to come out and sign autographs. It was like a Hollywood-type atmosphere. Can you imagine if they had won? So it really is tremendous, the support here in St. Louis. You can't say enough about it.
Well, several things. We'll try to build it as the game goes on. Certainly one of the major factors is the native-born Americans that come from this area.
All right, a young man by the name of Michael Beatty, all of 13 years of age, will be singing our national anthem coming up here momentarily at the Checkerdome in St. Louis.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare and bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
13-year-old Michael Beatty and Hitman can hold a note. What a rendition of our national anthem here in St. Louis.
I think he's psyched. He's ready to play.
He is keyed up. This crowd is keyed up as we get ready for the opening kickoff. As Nick pointed out during the open, the Steamers have never beaten the Arrows here in the Checkerdome. Their lone victories at the Nassau Coliseum, 1980-81 season, and the playoff game this past May the 14th. A good panoramic view of this sellout crowd. Looks to be SRO once again.
It's probably SRO plus about 200. They really pack him in. There we see Zoltan Toth. Zoltan has won every game in the playoffs that he's played this season, 4-0, and he is hot. He's ready to go. In fact, he's playing so well, I couldn't score on him the other night. There's the dynamite man, Slobo Iliyevsky. He can play with his feet. He can play with his hands. He is one of the keys for the success of the Steamers. Look for him, and these are the two men in the middle.
Anatol Popovich on the left. He's your alternate. Bill Maxwell on the right. He is your chief referee here this evening. The Arrows in their visiting whites. The Steamers in their home blue. Steve Jungle, number 7, 19 goals, 8 assists, 27 points to lead the playoff scoring parade, and we are underway in Game 4. Arrows lead 2-1, looking to clinch their 4th consecutive MISL championship tonight. Into the St. Louis zone.
I think this game so far, if I could make an analogy, it would be like a good mystery, and we just have to wait to see how it unravels. The beginning, the first quarter, will be very important. The only quarter that the New York Arrows have been outscored upon this year has been the first quarter.
Omar Gomez, who had the hat trick on Friday, and Jungle with the first shot on goal and a sprawling save by Slobo Iliyevsky. Jungle had a hat trick as well, including the game winner. In Game 3, here's a foul against New York. It'll be St. Louis ball. The Steamers looking to bring St. Louis its first professional championship in any sport in 15 years. Big Greg Villeneuve, number 11, and the save by Zoltan Toth. Arrows looking to clear. Mejia, crossfield to Chila. Juan Carlos Mejia sends it back, and Zoltan Toth springs it loose, looking for a hanging Steve Jungle, but it goes into the seats.
Well, Steve made a good move, what we call a checking run. You go one way, come back the other. That way he ran, told the goalkeeper, turned away, and ran away from the ball. Almost got through. But right away, the Steamers are matched up in tight man-to-man marking on defense, not allowing New York to play.
Steamers control. Tony Bellinger down to Villa, who leads the Steamers in playoff scoring, 6 goals, 7 assists. Don Ebert second with 7 goals and 4 assists, paying with a severely bruised left elbow. Steve Petcher, a soft shot off the boards, corralled by Zoltan Toth.
And right away we see Petcher shutting Mejia down. There's that full pressure that they're trying to apply now, not allowing New York to come out of the back, not allowing them to get into their running game. Not a bad idea if you can do it.
Zoltan Toth, an imposing figure in goal at 6'3". Franz St. Lot back to Juan Carlos Mejia. Being marked by 5'4" Jeff Cacciatore. Good pressure by Cacciatore. And Mejia rescues the ball. Bowled out of there by Zoltan. Nearly lost by St. Lot with Cacciatore right on the doorstep. St. Lot accelerating across the midfield line. Boots it in. And it's headed out of there.
Stephen, this is one of the successes that we just saw. St. Lot dribbling with speed down the middle of the field. The midfielders, the middle field players of New York have the ability to attack, carry the ball up, bring the ball up fast, quickly into the attack, much more so than the Steamers do. This is why Tai Keogh, Strenlau, and the other midfielders for the Steamers will have to play an important role to get the ball into the attack.
Val Tuchia, the top defender in the MISL this year, gets it in. Cacciatore clears it. Here come the Steamers, no score. Early first quarter, Sammy Vick has to put on the brakes with Karasi in front of him. Former Arrow Carl Rose across the midfield line, marked by Paul Kitson. Rose, pretty move around Jungle. Has some daylight in on Strenicer. On the give and go to Rose, too long. Broken up by Kitson. And the Steamers regroup. Vick pressured by Jungle. Nearly a careless play. Vick threading the needle, gets it right back. He's got some real estate. Tony Glavin had the hat trick the other night. Booted out by Strenicer. Here's Rose.
The Steamers playing very well now. They're playing under poise with good composure. New York is applying excellent pressure, but the Steamers are doing well to maintain possession at the same time, keep their attack going.
Oh, point blank by Rose. Zoltan Toth equal to the task. Tuchia playing it off the chest to Karasi. Crossfield to Kitson. Angle shot just off the mark. Cacciatore with Karasi converging. And the crowd wanting a foul on Karasi. Karasi having a word with a fan. There's a break of the action with a score. The Arrows nothing, the Steamers nothing.
This bud's for that first day on the job.
This bud's for you, the Ogden Dude, the king of music coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
4 minutes into the first quarter from the Checkerdome, no score. Game 4 of this best of 5 championship series. Arrows leading 2-1. It'll be New York on defense as Liverich pokes it over to Karasi. Look at Kitson darting in, but Ilievsky comes out to play it off the boards for Bellinger. Wearing the soft cast on the right arm.
If Steve Pitcher were not holding on to Paul Kitson's arm, Paul would have been through.
Greg Villa looking for Tony Glavin. Well taken care of by Mr. Kitson. Kept alive by Big Steve Petcher. Rams it right off the knee of Tuchia. Then he is hammered to the floor. Fans looking for a penalty. Winds up in the scorer's table. Anatol Popovich, the alternate referee, will put it back in.
The gentleman behind him with the beard is another one of the full-time referees. So, of the 6 full-time officials, they are all here acting as goal judges, working on the clock, making sure that everything, every fine detail gets done correctly.
One of them guarding the MISL championship trophy. That'll be presented if the Arrows prevail this evening. If necessary, Game 5, Wednesday, May 26th, back at the Nassau Coliseum at 8:05. Liverich, marked by Vick, ready move. Double team, still gets it loose. Reijevac out there for the first time. Has room down the left sidelines, gets a shot off. Cleared, back to Reijevac. Here comes St. Louis on the attack. Tai Keogh. Ebert with Clavillo. Carassi pries it loose, and now the Arrows engineer. Liverich at midfield, across the steamboat. Here's Carassi against Rose, trying to slip it through to Liverich. Liverich has it. Into the Steamers bench, and a good catch by Redmond Lane. Billy Gazotis, who sat out Game 4 on Friday night, out there now for the first time. Number 6, as you look at one-time New York Arrow, Al Trost, now the coach of the St. Louis Steamers. Born right here in St. Louis. 15 of the 20 Steamers from St. Louis. Long outlet down into the New York zone. This is Don Ebert posting on Reichevak. Gets it to Cacciatore. Broken up by Clavijo. Cacciatore recovers. He is quick. He gets it up. Scramble. And it's cleared by Nikitovich, but not out of the zone. Kept alive. Cacciatore broken up by Clavijo. Sammy Beck. Gazotis. Stremlau. Ebert. Past Cacciatore.
You know, Steve, what happens very frequently now, the Steamers are pulling full pressure out there, but have not been able to score. And what happens frequently is that the other team comes back and scores against them, so they have to be careful to maintain defensive balance. What they need to do is get a goal to continue and be rewarded for all the hard work that they're doing. But the defense of the Arrows has been superb.
Still no score. 8:05 remaining in the first quarter. Tony Glavin, top of the penalty area, shoved down by Chila. Whistle Maxwell fouled Chila.
Here we see Tony Glavin dribbling across the penalty area. Renato goes through for the ball. Takedown will be a direct kick for the Steamers. They are very dangerous in these situations. They look to pass off and a shot just like that, but it was blocked.
The shot unleashed by Carl Rose as you look at Don Popovich, who used to play here in St. Louis for the old St. Louis Stars. And he's got some playoff records, 16-3 all time. Most successful coach in pro sports. Regular season record of 114 wins, 26 defeats. Keogh blasting it off the boards. He was looking for Villa. Here comes Renato Chila. Slobo, who likes to wander.
See, it's at this point that I think the Steamers must attack quicker. That was 2 passes, both of them square passes. You've got to come quicker, get into the defense of New York before they have an opportunity to get organized. See, now there are 3 blue shirts and 4 white shirts. There's no way you're going to beat them. You got to get it quickly. Notice how quickly Omar will go.
Younger looking to get ahead of Bellinger, but into the hands of the goalkeeper, Slobo Ilievsky, and now Steve Petcher. Marked by Gazotis, lines it around the boards, takes a funny hop. Gazotis looking to get it back to the goalkeeper, Toth. Toley finally grabs it and rolls it over now to Machia. Banks it off the boards to Franz Saint-Lot. Long outlet, intended for Jungle, broke it up. Near collision. Long drive by Glavin, looking for his own rebound. And Coe smothers it.
Tony Glavin is the man for the Steamers. He had a hat trick the other day. He's the one that's got to put him on the boards. There you see it, hits the post, and look how quickly he follows the shot. Doesn't get enough of it. And Zoli comes up with the save. But he's the guy that New York constantly must watch and not allow him to get free.
23-year-old Tony Glavin, great two-way player. They call him the Motorman out of Glasgow, Scotland. Scoreless, 6:30 remaining in the first quarter.
History's repeating itself a bit. We saw the same thing. There were 17 goals in the almost 5 quarters of play last Friday. But at the end of one, there was only 1 goal scored. And here we are following that same pattern.
Gomez, good block by Keogh. A scissors to clear it. Left footer by Ebert. Now Gomez with some room, looking for Jungle again, and again the Steamers break it up. Mejia drops Ebert, and a foul against New York. There's a break of the action with a score. The Arrows nothing, the Steamers nothing.
At Chemical Bank, we've spent years developing programs to help our customers. But now, we need your help. Our branches have been plagued with an overabundance of $20 bills. 20s that, without you, will have nowhere to go. If you'd like to take one home, simply invest in a Chemical 6-month Super Saver certificate, and we'll give you a 20 on the spot. Please, won't you help?
Off a run by Kitson down into the St. Louis zone. He dishes off to Mejia, back to Kitson. He shoots and kind of semi-fanned on it.
Oh, that was an excellent penetrating pass by Juan Carlos Gatsu, but ball just couldn't get his full foot on it. Tried to strike it with the instep to get good accuracy on it, but didn't get enough power to get it by. Gino Strinitzer and Val Sukes are two of the players in the back now for New York, are the only two guys that have played all of the 44 games.
A couple of crafty veterans. Here's St. Lot. Racing away from John Strenlau. Kitson up on the right side, marked by Rose. Back to St. Lot. Maintains his balance, he shoots, and Ilievsky makes the stop.
And Franz is really having a good series now. He's got those 2 goals. He and Gomez had 2 apiece in the 5-3 win. Jungle got the 5th one.
Look out! The drive by Villa. In fact, St. Lot set up Jungle for the game winner on Friday night. 4:13 into the overtime. Cleared by Karasi. Recaptured by Sammy Pick. Good movement along the boards. Pick now plays it off the corner. Open goal! Boots in front, and Karasi saves it for Coach.
A lot of opportunities.
Things opening up now, Nick. Jungle went down, the crowd cheered.
Well, he is not their most liked person here.
Catcher moving in, he shoots, it's off the mark. Rebound, Kitson, rebound, Kitson, scores!
Kitson goes to block it, doesn't clear, a ball comes back to pitcher. He's all alone, punts it away, and the crowd loves it. The Steamers jump ahead 1-0 on a pitcher goal. And this is a goal that was very, very important for the Steamers to get. They've got to be up on the boards, they've got to be ahead of New York to stay in this game.
Pitcher's fourth at 11:06 to make it 1-0 St. Louis. But keep in mind, St. Louis got out to an early 3-0 lead in Friday's game, and the Arrows came back to win 9-8 in overtime.
You know, getting those early goals sometimes can be, can work against you, because the team has to play differently when they're leading than when they're winning, and they tend to adjust. Sometimes in a way that doesn't help their play. They slow down, they lose their rhythm of play, and we saw this happen Friday with the Steamers.
Kitson looking to tie it up, and Slobo Ilievsky pouncing on the loose ball.
The ball had him.
Holzer losing the Tuchscheid. Val Tuchscheid now streaking down the sideline, being chased by Larry Holzer, and he is hammered from behind. And Bill Maxwell says, Holzer, you're gone for 2 minutes. First penalty of the night.
No doubt about that in my mind, even though the 18,000 plus, including Larry Holzer, will deny it. But he came screaming from the back. Here we get to see, look at Valchuksa moving with speed. Now watch Larry. He comes from behind, and he kicks the legs out from under Val. Now goes down to the turf hard. And immediately, here we get another action. You get a better angle now. Now watch, he comes in, takes his hips out from under him with a very high tackle. And New York will have an opportunity to convert a goal with their man advantage. They were deadly in these situations, scoring 2 of the 3 goals. No, 3 goals rather the other night with man situations.
7 for 14 in the playoffs. Man advantage situations, 50% accuracy. Karasi organizing. Gomez. Val Tuksha. Goes again. Fakes left. Heads right. Centering feed for Jungle. And Ilieski is there. Minute 20 to go on the Hulser penalty. Here's Steve Petcher in the New York zone. Pass to Cacciatore. St. Louis shorthanded. Petcher lofting it over to Cacciatore in the near corner, marked by Nikitovic. Comes through for Bellinger. Low shot. And Zoltan Toth is there. Under a minute to go on the Hulser penalty. Here's Val Tuksha with Gomez on the right. Nikitovic gets it on the left. Dragon sends it back to Stan Karasi. Into the corner now for Gomez. Quickly over to Tuksha. Tuksha with a left footer. It's blocked by Petcher in front. Gomez recovers. 35 seconds on the penalty. Karasi. In front for Jungle. He turns. And Slobo pounces on top of it. 25 seconds to go on the St. Louis penalty. Bellinger clears it. Karasi keeps it alive. And it's looped up into the seats. So that'll play.
Karasi saw that the goalkeeper was a bit too far and tried to trip it over Slobo's head and chip it into the back of the net. Got a little bit too much underneath the ball and put it into the seats right behind the goal. Steve Petcher, captain of the St. Louis Steamers, so far the only goal getter. But you can be sure there'll be more to come.
3-time MISL All-Star. 18 seconds on the penalty. Here's Nikitovic. He's got Gomez free on the right. He elects to bounce it in himself, and Ilieski clears it. 8 seconds on the penalty. Arrows continue to mount the pressure. 4 seconds on the penalty. Here's Karasi. Karasi closing in. A shot blocked by Redmond Lane, and it hits the hands of one of the fans in the first row, so the whistle blows the play dead as Hulser comes out of the penalty box. St. Louis getting a good hand, a standing ovation. Able to kill off the penalty successfully. Arrows ball on the kick-in, all the way to Reichevak. Karasi lofting it into the corner to Reichevak, trying to head it around Carl Rose. Nifty maneuver by Rose. Karasi, and it's backheeled by Gomez. Whistle. No goal. Holding against New York. 1-0 St. Louis with 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Nice move, and it is wide. Reichevak. And Toth clears it down to Omar Gomez. Good move by Villa just a moment ago.
Excellent move. Stopped, had everybody going the wrong way, and then the final execution wasn't there.
Here's Gomez. Blocked by Bick. Tony Glavin can't get it. Kazotis to the midfield line of Clavio with 25 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
And Omar Gomez has really come into his own. And after the last game, he is now the 3rd top goal-getter and point scorer in the New York Arrow history.
23 seconds left in the first quarter here at the Checkerdome. Game number 4 of this best-of-5 MISL Championship Series. Arrows leading the series 2-1. And here in the first quarter, it's 1-0 St. Louis. Tony Glavin racing 1 against 3. Cannot split through. Coming up to 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Clavijo for Gomez. 5 seconds on the clock. And that'll do it for the first quarter. The end of the first 15 minutes of play here in St. Louis with the score. The St. Louis Steamers 1, the New York Arrows nothing.
This bud's for the people who make the tough jobs all part of a day's work.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
Don't forget, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., Sports Channel's longest-running series, Thoroughbred Racing, comes your way from Belmont Park with a recap of the day's 9 races. Join racing analysts Harvey Pack and Frank Dwyer as they call all the action from trackside. Thoroughbred action only on Sports Channel. Your box seat to the best in New York sports. Steve Albert and Nick Zlatar back here at the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Missouri. After 1 quarter of play, it's 1-0 Steamers on Steve Petcher's 4th playoff goal from Ty Keogh at 11:06 of quarter number 1.
Well, you know, Steve, in all the games, when your back is against the wall, as it is for the Steamers, you have to play to your maximum capability and not make mistakes. And I think all of the players now are very concerned on both teams not to make a mistake. You don't have to play great, but don't make a mistake. And certainly not after the first quarter is out. And once you go on the floor 2 times or so, you get back into the groove of things. There we see David Cletterer. Look at me, please. Ball boy for the New York Arrows. A wonderful young man. He's a soccer player, plays for the Sachem Soccer Club. The head there is Alex Inote, the trainer. He is the pride and joy. There he is, good-looking young man. David Cletterer, pride and joy of Judy and Howie Cletterer. He's saying, what? How are you, David? He and I will have a chance to go one-on-one tomorrow morning.
His dad, of course, the team dentist for the New York Arrows, and nice of the Arrows to bring David to St. Louis for the championship series. Brings me back to my old ball boy days with the Knicks.
And this is really the future of American sports. Look what happened to you.
If that's the future, we're in trouble. There's big crowd anticipating the second quarter.
You know, kind of a difference. Maybe it's me, but I feel much more of a tenseness in this crowd tonight than I did on Friday night. Friday, they were oozing with confidence. In fact, maybe a little bit of arrogance. Tonight, maybe a little bit of humility. They've got the goal to cheer, and you know, here we see the difference in the game so far. The right footed shot into the back of New York net. But, you know, they were winning 3-0, 2 minutes into the second quarter, 4-1 at 1 point in the second quarter. And really, it was a nip and tuck battle. Great game. Regardless of which team won, it was just a beautiful game to watch.
Ty Keogh racing it as they switch sides. Zoltan Toth to our left. Slobo Lieski to our right as the Arrows streak into the attacking zone. Here's Slobo with the green shirt. Skied in front of the net. And Lieski plucks it out of the air. Right back toward Liverich, but he can't get hold of it. Mark lets it fly off the mark to the left of goal. Cleared out. Here's Clavijo, gets it back for Juan Carlos Mejia.
Fernando has got to be one of the fastest players in the league. I'd like to see a foot race between him and Kitson. I don't think anybody could see them. They run so fast.
Fernando out of Uruguay. Mejia lofting it to Kitson, who heads it off the boards. Loose in front, nobody there in white.
Very intelligent play by Paul. You see, that time he saw he couldn't control the ball by heading it, receiving it on the head, so he flicked it off the wall to himself. Almost worked.
And Liverich passing it. Again, nobody home. Here's Steve Petcher for Don Ebert, headed out of danger by Clavijo. And the pushing violation, you can hear Bill Maxwell shout it out against Greg Villa of St. Louis, so it'll be New York full, deep in their own zone. We're at the Checkerdome in St. Louis, game number 4 of this best-of-5 MISL Championship Series. The Arrows leading it 2-1, but trailing here 1-0 as you get a good look at Don Ebert as the severely bruised left elbow. Bellinger Cutting left on Liverich. Getting the step on mark. Ebert banking it right in front of Liverich, clearing it, but not out. Here's John Stremlau. Over to Bellinger. Beautiful header by Clavillo. Dangerous, slapped away by Zoltan Toth with Ebert right on the doorstep. Long feed down to Paul Kitson. Backpedaling his Rose. Centering pass for Gazotis. Broken up by Stremlau.
Very exciting. Good combination by Billy Gazonis and Paul Kitson. 2 passes back and forth. Almost resulted in a brilliant goal.
Don Ebert. Great move around Sheila. And then he ran into Machia.
Excuse me, Steve, but that is one of favorite Donnie Ebert moves, the step over. He goes one way, steps over the ball, makes you think he's going to go left, and he continues going right. You know, every player must develop one good move that they are good at. And if you can do that one move better than the other guy can figure it out, you can be a pro.
He must learn that from Nick Zlatar.
I'm too slow for that.
St. Louis up 1-0 here, early second quarter. Greg Villa. Nice play by Machia. Recaptured. And then St. Lot plays it to Juan Carlos. And he dumps it in. Sammy Bick is there.
Yeah, a little bit too anxious. Juan Carlos that time could have maybe used that ball better rather than going long. He had 2 players breaking short.
Tony Glavin at midfield for Rose. Steve Jungle's back out there. Glavin for Cacciatore. Again, a good play by Machia.
You know, Steve, this is how the indoor game was meant to be played. Fast, skillful, clean, but yet very intense.
Well, this is the dream matchup, New York and St. Louis, for indoor soccer fans. Steve Jungle and the key to it. Stopped by Slobo Iliescu.
Super dribbling skills at speed by Steve Zungel. Laid it off to Nikitovic, couldn't finish. But you know, I think fans must understand the beauty of the game is another part other than just scoring. So just that beautiful diagonal dribble that Steve went on is magic in itself.
Crowd appreciating the call.
And Slobo's a little bit shaken up on that play. He's squatting down, trying to catch his wind. You know, it's not easy facing 75 shots or so per game.
Still 1-0 Steamers with 11:20 remaining in the second quarter. Petcher rifles it into the far corner. Lavin turns and fires it wide. And St. Lot gets it over to Zolito. Franz cutting away from Cacciatore. Intercepted by Steve Petcher. And a whistle by Maxwell as St. Lot was level.
Yeah, Cacciatore sent them sprawling. It's a good thing that Franz is very flexible. Otherwise, he could have gotten hurt on there. He did a couple of 2 or 3 forward rolls. But Franz, a lot of flexibility. He's loose jointed. He gets pinged, but he doesn't stay down for long.
Some acrobatics by Mr. Jungle. Sammy Bick and Dragan Nikitovic coming together in the corner. But the reaction from this crowd looks to be against St. Louis. And Jungle will kick in. Tips it over to Stranicer for the drive that's high. Taken away by Kai Keogh.
That's exactly what we mean by a wall pass, the traditional wall pass in soccer.
Cacciatore lets fly. St. Lot. Jeff Cacciatore picks up where he left off on Friday all over the place.
Here's that transition game, and no one does it better than New York. You see how quickly they get into the attack?
Sheila sets it up. Headed out to Gomez in the neutral zone. Here's Omar closing in, looking for Jungle, but it's picked off by Petcher. Cuts to his right away from St. Lot. Lavin. Around St. Lot, he shoots. He scores!
Now watch the quickness of the dribble. Changes direction. On top of the D. Hits it. Zoli gets a hand on it. And off Zoltan's hands into the goal. Again, watch the quickness of this move to his left. Gets lucky on the break. Shoots with power. Low right of the goalkeeper. Zoli gets a piece of it, but not enough for a full deflection. 2-0 for the Steamers. Coach Popovich is thinking of the better days that are coming ahead. No need to panic. Early in the game, 9:58 to go in the second quarter. Plenty of time.
And there's a break of the action, Nick, with the score now. The St. Louis Steamers 2 and the New York Arrows nothing.
This buzz for everyone who's in the groove. It's 5 minutes on the upswing of 5. Outside is 87 degrees under sunny blue skies. Stay tuned for my man Flash. I'm moving out of here, having myself an ice cold brew.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
All you do is for you.
I know.
Play back in with 9:20 remaining in the second quarter. 2-0 St. Louis. The Steamers on the surge again and hit the post. Oh, what a recovery by Zoltan Toth.
Well, the rule says that the entire ball must cross the goal line. I am certain from where I look that a piece of it did cross. But there's a goal line judge right there. Donnie Ebert is talking to him now. And now let's see if we can get a better look at it here. Good shot. Now here it is. Comes right back, hits Zoltan. And now let's see what part of it crosses. Yes, a part of it, but the entire ball. And the goal line judge is right there in that corner. He has the best view of it all. The light didn't go on, so we have to assume that the full circumference of the ball did not cross the line.
Carl Rose decking Steve Jungle. Again getting a rise from the crowd. Tuksha. Ilieski smothering it, then clearing it off the boards. Going to be recaptured by Karasi. Stolen away as Karasi is dumped by Donnie Ebert. And a whistle to Maxwell.
You know, judging by the reaction of the St. Louis players, I don't think that ball crossed the line. Donnie Ebert was the only one that went over to the goal line judge, questioned him. But we've seen the Steamer players really vehemently argue a call when they think they are right.
Gomez continues. Dragged down, no call. Carl Rose on top of him. And Slobo hammers it out across the midfield line to Hulser. 2 against 2, looking for Ebert. Broken up by Val Tuksha. Here's Val streaking down the middle. Gomez on the right, Jungle on the left. Tuksha, a magician with the feet, broken up by Ty Keogh. And back comes St. Louis. Hulser cuts to his right. Here is Razorback. Gets it over to Karasi, and a whistle by Maxwell.
There'll be an obstruction call on Ty Keogh. New York tries to put the ball in play quickly, but St. Louis was trying to get a substitution on it, so therefore, play stops. The referee's going to bring it back.
Again, Don Popovich looking on with his team trailing 2-0, 8:03 remaining in the first half. Nick will be chatting with Arrows Club President John Luciani at halftime.
Okay.
Bellinger. Pitcher. Rams it off the boards. Gomez in a foot race. Spun around by Bellinger. And the call against the Steamers.
I think Altos had a good talk to his players after Friday's game. One of the things that I personally disagreed with was the number of arguments that they had over the calls with the officials. Tonight, they seem to be taking those calls against them with more discretion.
.7:44 remaining in the first half. Goals by Steve Petcher and Tony Glavin. Glavin 7th from Petcher. At 4:59, the second Steamers goal. Here's Machia. Ilieski makes a nice play off the carom. Hayes in there for the first time, number 21. Rolled out of there by Toth. Here's Juan Carlos Machia, marked by Larry Hulser of St. Louis. Over to Fernando Clavillo. Near steal by Taikio, and now the Steamers come back on offense. There's Holzer.
St. Louis is really in a good groove now. They're running well, they're pressuring the ball, they're winning it, and they're moving in the attack.
John Hayes. Oh, and Keogh came barreling in. Hayes with a header. Slapped away by Zoltan Tooth. Karasi off the boards to Machia, and he is put down by Holzer.
We were chatting before the broadcast, before the game, Stephen. We said that Taikio has to have a more production in the team. He has to get involved more in the attack.
Nice sliding defensive play by Steve Petcher with Elievsky out of the goal. And Holzer carries it up to midfield. One thing the Steamers are not short of is defense.
Well, they led the league. They allowed the fewest goals scored against them.
Whistle being blown, and Slobo Elievsky is shaken up, Nick. He is down. So with 6:35 remaining in the first half, there's a break in the action with the score. St. Louis 2, New York nothing.
Money market funds seem like a solid investment, but they're not FDIC insured. In a bull market, their interest rates can drop, and taxes could eat up to 50% of what you've earned. In short, they're not as solid as Chemical's tax shelter CD. It's FDIC insured, pays high interest, and could yield up to $2,000 tax-free. Chemical Bank. We've got the bull by the horns.
St. Louis Steamers trainer Bill Jennings applying the ethyl chloride to the foot of Slobo Elievsky. And now Slobo getting up, and this big crowd cheering.
Was that your last date? Ethyl chloride?
Right. Good, Nick.
Here we see possibly where, there we go, hyperextension. You see how slowly he's coming back.
The drop ball.
You can be sure that will not keep Slobo, number 30, out of the nets. Going to have a restart here with the drop ball just about the middle of the field.
The backup for Slobo, just in case you were wondering, a forgotten soul, Manny Schwartz from Israel. Slobo's been in there from the outset in the playoffs. Now Kitson taken down by Rose. 6:26 remaining in the first half, 2-0 St. Louis. Fernando Clavillo will tee it up. Out it goes to Machia, and a sprawling save by Slobo. Nothing wrong with him there. Long outlet, going to be intercepted off the head of Clavillo. And Machia tracks it down for Zoltan Tooth. Zoltan was 4-0 in the playoff. Kitson. Back to little Billy Gazonis.
There's really tight marking going on in there. You know? They're not giving each other an inch to play in.
Look at Cacciatore just swarming on Tooth. Steve Jungle. Some pretty ball handling. Gets it across the line for Kitson. Kitson rolls to his right. And he lost it. Coughed it up to Cacciatore on pressure from Strimlau. Now here's Tony Glavin, who scored the second St. Louis goal. Bick down to Cacciatore. Returns to Bick. The left footer over to Strimlau in the corner. Loose and Fred. Leverett one-on-one against Rose. Leverett shoots. Wide. Rebound in front, cleared by the Steamers. Sammy Bick.
This is by far the best that I have seen the Steamers play this year.
But they have never beaten the Arrows here in the Checkerdome. They've only beaten them twice lifetime, both at the Nassau Coliseum. Here's a collision between Keogh and Gazonis, and the call going against St. Louis.
Unquestionably so. Billy Gazonis was being kicked for about 15 seconds. He was wondering when the referee was going to come to his rescue. Ty Keogh was practicing the drums on his shins.
Rose gets it out of there. Here's Nikitovich to chase it down at his own red line. Off to Stranicer. the stylish veteran for the New York Arrows, sends it over to Liverich, top of the penalty area, who finds Gazotis as Liverich was upended. And the fans cheer.
I tell you, Carl Rose made no attempt to play the ball. He just came in and cleaned Mark. Unbelievable. Carl Rose, one of the penalty minute leaders in the league. He made no bones about it. He just came in and cleaned, took the leg out from Mark.
And Bobby Baldwin out there to attend to Mark Liverich. Mark, who played on the same line with Pele in 1975 with the New York Cosmos, is in pain. The right knee area. So the physical play picks up where it left off on Friday night. Steamers ahead 2-0 with 4:29 remaining in the first half. Wednesday night, immediately following the Mets-Braves game at 10 p.m., Sports Channel is proud to present a baseball special. It's called Big League Managers, Who's in Charge? Join Fran Healy as he takes an inside look at managing in the major leagues with expert commentary by coaches, players, managers, and media representatives. Big League Managers, Who's in Charge? Wednesday night, right after the Mets, only on Sports Channel. Your box seat to the best in New York sports. Mark Liverich continues to get the attention, and Don Popovich looks on with great concern. The other bench, Al Trost, who has a 2-0 lead at this particular point. But again, we remind you that it was 3-0 St. Louis in Game 3, 4-1. But the Arrows came from behind to win. Now Liverich gets up, limping. The right knee injured.
And again, we're going to have a restart in the middle of the field. By a drop ball. Mark is nodding over to Rose, who's at the far end of the bench. You know, this game is intense enough, and there's a likelihood of injury anytime you participate in any athletic event. There is no need to intentionally go out and harm someone. So certainly Carl Rose has not made a friend in myself nor in Mark Liverich, I'm sure, this evening.
So there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams here in this playoff series. As Steve Jungle carries in, cuts to his right, he shoots off the force, looking for Nikitovich on the rebound. 4:10 left in the second quarter, 2-0 Steamers. St. Louis on the attack. Villa centers for Ebert, and it's broken up by the Arrows. Streticer gets it over to Nikitovich. Back to Streticer. And now here's Franz Salot across the midfield line, marked by Steve Petcher, off to Steve Jungle. Jungle and Bellinger go into the corner, and Bellinger gets it. Tony Bellinger back the other way. Dazzling footwork by Mr. Bellinger. Ty Keogh, broken up by Nikitovich, recovered by Keogh. This could be his last game. He'll join the San Diego Sockers of the NASL when the playoffs have ended. Miller against Salot. Salot breaks it up, grabs hold of the ball, gets it off to Jungle, and backpedaling on defense is Bellinger. Here's Steve Jungle, fakes right, cuts left. Now the shot is wider than a sky ball by Salot. Reaches the seats.
A good attempt by New York. France came running at speed to get that rebound. Just couldn't get enough of it, but very courageous. You know, it was very easy to back off because that was shin to shin. I don't remember the last time that New York has not scored a goal in 2 quarters.
As we follow Franz Salot all the way back to the Arrows bench. 3:04 remaining in the first half. Sloboilieski Dumps it off the near boards for Tony Glavin, looking to get around Tuksha, and it rolls over to Zoltan Koh. As Glavin was taken down, the crowd wanting a penalty, no call. Here's Gomez the other way. He's got Jungle on the left. Gomez splitting through, and then out of nowhere came Redmond Lane to break it up. Here's Lane across the midfield line, marked by Rajabek. Lane cuts left around Gomez. Knocks it over to Jeff Cacciatore. Cacciatore has Rose in the corner. Glavin in front. He's tripped up. No call. Here's Cacciatore again. Booted away by Rajabek. Back to Redmond Lane with 2:25 remaining in the second quarter. St. Louis up 2-0.
You know, this has really become a battle of wits, of power.
Here's Gomez looking for Jungle. Broken up by the defense. Gomez again. Back to Stan Karasi. 2:10 to go in the first half. Karasi cutting to his left around Lane, and then Glavin takes it away. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Glavin racing downfield. Cacciatore on the left side. Moving against Val Tuksha. Cacciatore continues, and then he coughs it up to Karasi. Cacciatore is taken down. The fans screaming, no call. Back it goes to Glavin with 1:48 to go in the first half. 2-0 St. Louis. A pair of 22s, Rajabek and Glavin. The rug comes up momentarily, and it comes out now to Karasi. A back heel for Gomez. And he dumps it off to Rajabek. Jungle, marked by Bick. Over to Karasi. 1:20 to go in the half. Jungle shot is blocked. Back it goes to Tuksha. He shoots, and it's high over the crossbar into the crowd. With 1:16 remaining in the first half, Val Tuksha, voted the top defender in the MISL this year, will get a breather. The crowd is revved up. So far, the St. Louis Steamers have held the New York Arrows off the scoreboard in the first half. Jungle turns and boots it up high. And the crowd eating it up. As Jungle and the Arrows continue to be frustrated, yes.
Do you think there's a little bit of excitement generated here?
You cannot get more intense. The term playoff atmosphere has been overused. It's a cliche, but it's so true here tonight. 1 minute remaining in the first half. Rajabek has some real estate. Over to Gomez. He shoots. Kick save by Eliaski. And Donnie Ebert corrals it for St. Louis. 45 seconds on the clock of the first half. Here's Greg Villa. Loops it over to Petcher along the near boards. Steve Petcher closing in for the angle. Off the plexiglass for Ty Keogh. Keogh and Karasi come together. Now here's Jungle and Villa going hard into the boards. 25 seconds remaining. Villa penetrating. Cuts left on Clavillo. Clavillo gets back and saves it. 15 seconds to go in the first half. Omar Gomez has Karasi on the left. Jungle out in front. 10 seconds to go in the half. Jungle and Bellinger. 5 seconds left in the first half. And it's cleared out of there by St. Louis. Tony Bellinger fakes left, cuts right as the buzzer sounds to bring the curtain down of the first half of play, and a standing ovation from this capacity crowd here at the Checkerdome. Tremendous first half for the St. Louis Steamers, challenging the New York Arrows, the defending MISL champion. Nick Zlatar and yours truly, Steve Albert, will be along with a summary of the first half in just a moment. The score at the end of one half of play. The St. Louis Steamers 2 and the New York Arrows nothing.
Well, excuse-moi, can you spare $5.15 for a cup of coffee?
Think prices are high now. Wait till the year 2000.
Great! Bologna's on sale.
This is a real steal. $4,100 a month with a view.
Well, there's help. Chemical Bank's IRA. You'll get a giant tax break now and tax-deferred interest. So someday you could retire a millionaire. After all, you'll need it.
Okay, $31,000, but I'm practically giving it away.
Chemicals Tax Shelter IRA.
Steve Albert and Nick Zlatar back here at the Checkerdome in St. Louis. This is Game 4 of this best-of-5 championship series for the MISL championship. And the St. Louis Steamers are up over the New York Arrows at the end of one half of play by the score of 2-0. The Steamers opening up the scoring at 11:06 of the first quarter as Steve Petcher scored his fourth playoff goal. The ball actually deflecting off of Paul Kitson of the New York Arrows, and Petcher put it in behind Zoltan Toth. The assist going to Ty Keogh to make it 1-0. And then at 4:59 of the second quarter, Tony Glavin, who had the hat trick in Game 3, comes back with his 7th goal. It went off the hand of Zoltan Toth, the New York Arrows goalkeeper. Steve Petcher assisting to make it 2-0. Your thoughts on the first half, Nick?
Very, very well played. Close, a lot of opportunities by both teams, but this team has converted them. Very exciting. I have never been involved in a game with as much intensity. Certainly last year's game and this one are the highlights.
You're not surprised by all the physical play. It's kind of an overflow, really, from the regular season games between these two teams, although the Arrows won and have dominated the St. Louis Steamers. St. Louis does not believe in history.
They have dominated this as far as wins and losses are concerned, but only one game between the two teams have ever, the greatest difference has been 2 goals. Last night was overtime. The first game in New York was overtime. So traditionally these two teams have played very, very tight to the belt. The Steamers, their forte is go out, run, play, get physical. New York, their forte is run and play, but be skillful. So now 2 contrasting styles, attack against defense, and right now the defense seems to be winning.
What do the New York Arrows have to do to get back into this ballgame?
Continue playing just the way they have been. Perhaps be a little bit more accurate in the attacking third with their passes, but they have certainly created more than enough opportunities to score goals. The key is to convert, and the only opportunity there is to make sure you hit the back of the net. But they are playing very, very well.
Can you remember the last time they were shut out in an entire half?
No, I don't. But I'm not a good one for a little trivia kind of things. But you can't hold out New York for a long time. Somebody will come busting through, and then we've seen what happens. Zungul got 2 goals rather than 7 seconds on Friday night. The dam can open up at any time. And no one knows that better than Coach Al Trost, and I'm sure all the kids are now learning about that in their locker room.
Okay, so we shall see what happens come second half on goals by Steve Petcher and Tony Glavin. It is 2-0 in favor of the St. Louis Steamers, who are trailing this best-of-5 championship series by the count of 2-1. You're going to be chatting with the club owner, John Luciani, coming up momentarily. So once again, we'll remind you that at the end of the first 30 minutes of play here at the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Missouri, it's the St. Louis Steamers 2, the New York Arrows nothing. Nick returns with John Luciani of the New York Arrows right after these words.
Buzz for everyone who's in the groove.
It's 5 minutes on the upswing of 5. Outside is 87 degrees under sunny blue skies. Stay tuned for my man Flash. I'm moving out of here, having myself an ice cold brew.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
All you do is for you.
I know.
With me is the owner of the New York Arrows, Mr. John Luciani. And in every professional organization, the quality of that organization starts at the very top. The one individual, in my opinion, that's more responsible than anyone else in bringing the championships to New York is this gentleman, Mr. John Luciani. John, what do you think about this whole atmosphere here?
It's extremely exciting, Nick. I'll tell you, the intensity of the playoff games this year particularly, I have never seen anything like it in sports before. I'm very excited.
You know, just a personal question, John. Do you ever watch that show, Dynasty?
Yes, I do.
Because I think you've created one here in the sports empire industry that you've done here with the New York Arrows, going for the 4th championship. What are your thoughts now, John, as we look back on the first 4 years, and now you're going for the hat trick +1?
Well, we were joking the other day. We're really going to go for the hat trick +2. Well, of course, it's not over, as Yogi Berra said, until the game is finished. So we'll see. We're trying hard, though.
But what happens? How do you wear that 5th ring? Is that a thumb ring?
That's funny, Nick. No, you know, as a matter of fact, we designed our ring to just add diamonds. You know, we planned ahead.
But, you know, let's look back now to the league. You know, they've changed, a lot of changes. You know, in 1978, when the thing first started, people were wondering, what the heck is this thing? How far has the indoor game come?
Well, of course, from the inception when we had 6 teams and we played 12 games, it was really a start. And, of course, to start and introduce a product nationally as we did is an extremely difficult thing. Other sports have tried, they've failed. I think what you see here tonight and Friday night and what you've seen throughout the cities, indoor soccer is here to stay. The major indoor league is here to stay. We'll be here for a long time.
I think so, but, you know, last year, right here in this place, or about a month earlier in March, pretty much the same atmosphere, 18,000+ people, 30 seconds to go, Zungel puts it away, New York Arrows win 6-5. One game, winner take it all. How about the difference here, the best out of 5?
I think the format this year is really a lot better. It's what is done in most other sports. We like it better, and I think it really gives a chance for the best team to really prevail.
What can we anticipate of the future? I know you're a very, very influential person among the league. What ideas have you projected or think about improving for the coming years?
Well, of course, we talk about expansion. We don't want to expand the league rapidly. We're looking for good ownership. I think we're going to have some very, very good announcements through the league office after our meetings in July. I think we will introduce some owners for the next season that'll really startle the sports world.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because many of the positive things that have occurred in American sports in the last couple of years has been through the indoor soccer league. If we can just show a picture here, and we don't have the official name of the cup, so for the time being, I just have to refer to the Johnny Cup until we get a formal presentation. But this is, ladies and gentlemen, what it's all about. This is the championship of the Major Indoor Soccer League, and it has certainly sat in your desk, John, for the previous 3 years, and I have a feeling that it'll be back there.
Well, we're going to try hard to bring it back, Nick, and I keep telling the other owners we'll try harder and harder each year, and I think that's brought the level of play to what you see here tonight, quite frankly.
Yes, it certainly has. You know, looking back again from the first and the second year, even though when in 1978, when the Russian team came over to the Coliseum and played the first international indoor soccer game, are there any possibilities of perhaps doing more of that?
Yes, there certainly are. We, the Arrows, have been invited to take tours. We've been invited to take a tour to the Far East. We've been invited to take a tour to Europe. I would rather develop the sport as we're doing here in this country first, and I think that'll give us success before we think internationally.
I know that you get very close to the team and to the players, you know, their personal friends. How do you compare this year, this team, compared to the previous 3 teams?
Well, quite frankly, I think the coach deserves a lot of credit. I think each year he builds a stronger and stronger team, as our record indicates. And I really congratulate Popovich on a job that he's done. It's a super team.
Yes, he has. And there's one gentleman, Steve Zungel, that some people refer to as the franchise.
Well, of course, Steve is a superstar. He's an incredible player, and that can be true anytime you develop a player like Steve. And I don't like to think of any one player as a franchise. It still takes an entire team. But he, of course, is an outstanding player and a sweet guy. I love him.
And I think one of the things that you mentioned when Coach Popovich brings in the players, it's a supporting cast. We see the Gomez's, the Chilas, the Shep Messings. Perhaps some of the people don't get as much of a print as the goal-getters do, as the scorers do, as they do in most other sports. The home run hitters get a lot more press than the Pete Roses with the singles. But again, the quality of the overall organization is what impresses and was what has been the precedent for all of the other clubs in the MISL to follow.
Well, that's exactly correct, and I think that what has surfaced, like the Val Tuksha, who was Defender of the Year, he's an outstanding player, and it requires the Tukshas and the Chillas, of course, so that Jungle does have an opportunity to score. But you're right, he, of course, is the limelight, and the scorers always are.
Well, you know, here we have a little bit of an opposite thing in St. Louis, where Slobo Ilievsky is kind of a hero, and he, I think, has been the big difference in the first half in this game.
You're very much so. Slobo is an outstanding goalie. Of course, he's very daring. He's an exciting goalie to watch. And you're right in his case with respect to this franchise. He, too, however, needs a team. It still takes teamwork.
Well, I think that's the key to any successful group is the organization. And the kind of people that you have put together, Mr. Luciani, is certainly a credit to all of the things that you have done.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. And it was nice visiting with you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and I'm sure that by the end of the game, I think the numbers will be reversed.
I hope so. My palms are sweating, not from these lights, from watching the first half.
But if anyone walks away from here disappointed, it will not be because they have not seen a quality game. Thank you very much, Mr. John Luciani, and we'll be back for more action right after this.
At Chemical Bank, we've spent years developing programs to help our customers. But now, we need your help. Our branches have been plagued with an overabundance of $20 bills. 20s that, without you, will have nowhere to go. If you'd like to take one home, simply invest in a Chemical 6-month Super Saver certificate, and we'll give you a 20 on the spot. Please, won't you help?
We are back at the Checkerdome in St. Louis. Halftime is winding down. Steamers on top by the score of 2-0. Steve Petcher with his 4th goal from Ty Keogh. 11:06 of the first quarter. Tony Glavine with his 7th of the playoffs from Steve Petcher at 4:59 of the second quarter, and that is it. Only one penalty in the first quarter. Larry Hulser of St. Louis went off for tripping at 11:49. The Arrows unable to capitalize on the man advantage situation. This is game 4 of this best of 5 championship series. Arrows on top by the count of 2-1. And if necessary, game number 5 Wednesday night at the Nassau Coliseum. Kickoff time 8:05. We're going to take a look, Nick, at some of the highlights of the first half. And here's our first look.
Here we see Franz Saint-Louis dribbling deep to the corner. Now watch, he takes a good shot off. Swobo comes in. One of the things that he has to be careful of is watch out for the ball being played against the wall. Here's the goal by Petcher. You notice how Paul Kitson took his foot out, just trying to clear the ball, couldn't get enough of the ball. And here we see Tony Glavine's move. Move to the left, the ball bounced right back to him, shoot. Zoli dives, can't get enough of the ball. Back of the net, that's what it's all about. Here we see why Slobo is considered one of the tops. Right there, a foot save, ball comes back. So any way you can get it. You notice what would have happened had that ball not been cleared by him. Steve Zungel, who is always the ever-present around the goal area, would have tucked it away. You know, and people say, well, you know, it's easy for him to score because he poaches. Horse feathers. He's got to be good to get there.
Nick, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m., New York Mets baseball here on Sports Channel as the Mets travel to Atlanta, Georgia to take on Joe Torre's Braves. New York Mets baseball right here on Sports Channel, your box seat to the best in New York sports. Talked about Steve Zungel, voted this past Friday the MISL MVP along with Stan Terlecki of Pittsburgh. In this year's playoffs alone, Zungel with 19 goals and 8 assists. The goals, a new MISL playoff record, breaking his own record of 15 set last year. And he's won the playoff MVP the last 2 years. Can you remember who won it the first time around?
Shep Messing.
Very good, Nick.
But could I give you an editorial? There's Mr. Don Popovich, the head man of the Arrows. And I'm sure before the things go too long, he'll have a little bit to smile. But if I just could very briefly give an editorial on that MVP sharing between Zungel and Terlecki.
Okay.
I can't see it. I can't see how you can have a sharing of the MVPs. Taking nothing away from Terlecki. This was his first year in the league. He played 43 games, scored 74 goals, and assisted 43 times for a total of 117 points. Steve Zungel in 40 games scored 103 goals. That's more than 73, isn't it? By about 28 or whatever. And he scored 60, gave 60 assists to lead the league in that. The record for a total of 163. But forget about statistics because there could be other ways to evaluate a player. As far as overall value, Steve Zungel is the man. But that was the end of my editorial.
For a copy of that Nick Zlatar editorial, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Nick Zlatar and Company. Only kidding, Nick. You're entitled to your opinion.
Well, you know, not that I dislike Telekian, certainly is a great player, and he was a great addition to that Pittsburgh team. But we have to put things in their proper perspective. You know, and I say that Steve Zungel is in a class by himself. If you don't want to give it to him, well, fair enough. Then give it to one person. But it's just, I don't remember any other sport where the MVPs shared a trophy.
Well, the Lord of all indoors, Steve Zungel, kicking it off here in the Mecca of all indoors, the Checkerdome. Ilieski to our left, Koth to our right. 2-0 St. Louis, quarter number 3. Here's Ty Keogh, lets it fly, it's wide, whistle, that won't go. That won't count, disallowed. Maxwell waves it off.
No doubt about it. It was a good loud whistle. We have the highest seat in the house, and the whistle could be heard here. Here we see Ty Keogh dribbling up, gets the ball across. We see a couple deflections. There it is. It hits Donnie Ebert in the leg. Goes in the net. Donnie tucks it away. But the whistle had blown right after Ty Keogh sent the ball flying.
Altros pacing behind the St. Louis benches. Some debris is cleared up off the field. Boy, the plot thickens.
Well, you know, we said this was going to be a mystery, and it's unraveling. But certainly, I don't think there's any question. There was strictly an emotional response by the crowd in having their team scored a goal and taking it back. But the referee gave a whistle way, way before, so there's really no question.
Loose in front in Tokreb's hole. There were several fisticuffs in the seats on Friday night. Fans get a little caught up in the action. Greg Villa shaken up on the play. It'll be St. Louis ball off the New York foul. Clavillo has it taken away by Villa. Streaks it back to Ty Keogh along the far boards. And they play it all the way back to Slobo Ilieski, who likes to bring it out. He scored a goal during the regular season. Omar Gomez wants the ball. Gomez, one of 3 players to have hat tricks. Game 3 on Friday. The Arrows winning it, come from behind fashion 9-8 in overtime. Just in case you are new to our championship series, this is game 4 of this best of 5. New York leading 2-1. Here's Gomez in front to Zungel. He got twisted up. How close can you come to scoring a goal? And it's still 2-0 St. Louis.
You know, people might say, my gosh, now watch this. You get a good chance to see it. Watch, the ball comes to Omar Gomez, dribbles. Now look what happens. The ball gets stuck between Steve's feet, and he gets tripped up. And watch this counter.
2-on-1 leverage. He shoots it, deflected away by Ilieski. Leverage recaptures in the corner, plays it off the boards. Gazonis in, hit it out of there, and it's cleared high into the air. Don Ebert in pursuit, along with Renato Chilo, winds up out of play. The Arrows storming here in the 3rd quarter, looking to get on the scoreboard.
Pushing. That's what the referee is signaling. And his friend behind him. You can hear them. Hold on. It's a substitution.
And Bill Maxwell waving Franz Saint-Lot. Ball kicks it out as Gomez goes back to the bench.
Okay, Bill, whenever you're ready.
We got good communication that time with the referees. That's a team in itself. You know, the other night there was some question about some of the calls that the referee made. And we always say that no matter what calls they make, people will question it. But the refereeing, I think, has been outstanding here in the series.
12:50 remaining in the third quarter. St. Louis up 2-0. Goals by Petcher and Glavin. Here's Cacciatore leading it ahead for Bick. St. Lot and Bick and a whistle. And the foul, pushing foul against the Steamers, Sammy Bick.
And that was the whistle made by Anatol Popovich, the assistant referee on the far side. It's on his side. He has a real good look at the view, at the action on that side of the field.
And you saw the fine sportsmanship gestures by Bick and St. Lot. After the foul, here's Kitson. Marked by Bick. Crossfield out of Machia. Plays it off the board with Cacciatore on top of him. Juan Carlos Machia. And Cacciatore busting it up. St. Lot recovers it from Machia. Franz looking for help. Now here's Liverich. Let's fly with a little half volley, and Slobo Lieski is there.
Yeah, Mark tried a toe poke just to get rid of the ball, hoping to surprise Slobo, but Slobo is in his form, and when he's on, he is tough.
Greg Villa now with Juan Carlos Machia. They collide. Call going against St. Louis. And there's a break of the action. Your score, St. Louis 2, New York 0.
This bud's for that first day on the job.
This bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beer is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
Arrows on offense, trailing 2-0. Kitson slips it through. Lieski with an easy save. So far, this is a far cry from Game 3. 17 goals were scored. 20 players figured in the point scoring. It's 2-0 St. Louis in the third quarter. Taken away by the Steamers. Long feed down to midfield. Misplayed by Greg Villa right off the back of his foot. Gene Stratisser, number 13. All the way over to Paul Kitson. A drive off the chest of Ilieski. Now here's Chila. Taps it over to Liverich. Karasi. Kitson open in the corner. Headed out of there by Keogh. And Tony Glavin grabs hold for St. Louis. Splits up to the midfield line. Zigzagging. Trying to get around Stratisser. And it's just wide. Great rush by Glavin. Bellinger didn't have full control.
Great piece of dribbling. You saw the way he was just running past the defenders.
Here's Glavin again, Nick, with Petcher streaking in. Lead pass is broken up by Stratisser, recovered by Glavin, poked away neatly by Stratisser, and Liverich now. Having trouble, though, and it comes over to Kitson. And a foul. Kitson and Bellinger ramming into one another. And it's against Bellinger for the obstruction. 9:58 remaining in the third quarter. St. Louis on goals by Petcher and Glavin, leading 2-0. So it'll be Arrow's ball at midfield. Gene Stratisser will kick it in.
You know, you have to wonder how long this drought for the New York scoring punch can continue.
Very uncharacteristic. Pushing against St. Louis, so now the Arrows get deeper and deeper in St. Louis territory. Karasi will trigger it. Rams it in front, Bellinger. Karasi along the boards. Back to Stratisser. Now here's Val Tuksha. Cacciatore goes flying. Cacciatore up ahead. One-on-one. Ebert against Toth, and Toth makes the save. Ebert gets it back, and Toth clears it around the boards for Karasi. Boy, that was dangerous.
It surely was, but not the best taken one-on-one situation by Donnie Ebert. You got to come to the goalkeeper, make him commit. Zoli came out, cut the angle, and he made the attacker do what he wanted him to do.
Steve Petcher back the other way, up ahead to Cacciatore. He shoots. It is saved by Zoltan Toth. Cleared out to Petcher.
You know, at the top of the show, we showed the kind of stuff the Shep had to do to preserve a tie at the end of the game.
Stemlau shoots, blocked and grabbed by Zoltan.
And Zoltan is continuing in that tradition, preserving the New York net.
He's being tested. Down it comes to Jungle. Return. Oh, Karasi hits the crossbar. The finger being pointed at Steve Jungle, having words with Bill Maxwell. Maxwell looking to get Jungle off into the penalty box.
Yeah, he's got him. He called intentional handling of the ball. Steve Jungle went up for a head ball, could not hit it. Tried to sneak in a handball. Referee caught it, and he gave him a 2-minute penalty. So now, the Steamers, who has probably the worst man advantage record going for approximately 22% or 20% success, will try to get one goal further ahead as they have 5 against 4 on the field.
The Arrows are only 3 for 12 in man advantage situations here in the playoffs. They lead 2-0. They've got the advantage now, 8:30 to go in period 3. By Keogh. Rebound is off the mark. Another rebound by Sendobri, and it's cleared out of there into the Arrows 6.
And Sendobri only comes in on the power plays. He's got a thunderous left foot. They put him over there on the left side, left part of the field, and he just strips away at it.
Ty Keogh. Crowd obviously revved up with the opportunity here for St. Louis. Villa slides it back. Here's Sendobri dumping it in front, cut off deeply by Zoltan Toth, who pulls it out on the far side to Tukcha. 1:11 remaining on the penalty to Steve Jungle. Foul against the Steamers. It'll be a kick-in for the Arrows on the far side. Arrows down 2-0. 7:53 left in the third quarter. Val Tukcha slides it around Jeff Sendobri, but it's back to Ty Keogh. 1 minute remaining on the Jungle penalty. Villa. Marked by Saint-Lot. Ty Keogh. Back to Villa. Almost lost it to Kitson.
You know, last night, St. Louis was really punished for the penalties they committed. Petcher went out for 4 minutes. A foul plus unsportsmanlike conduct.
And a score by Keogh. Man advantage goal for St. Louis, and they make it 3-0. Gets his first playoff goal.
Do you think this crowd is loving it? Now watch. Ty Keogh comes up, dribbles, overpowers with a shot. Low to the goalkeeper's right, takes the side of the net. In front of you, he hits it. No doubt about it. Low, hard, accurate. Not much Tony could do about it. To the extent they couldn't get a hand on it. And this crowd is going crazy now. So as I was saying last night, St. Louis.
And Carl Rose hits it home. And it's 4-0 St. Louis. Arrows.
Carl Rose, who certainly has had a great series here in the playoffs. 8 games, or 9 games now, 7 goals. Now watch. He comes in, gets the first shot. Nothing happening. The ball gets shot again. Off the boards. Now here's the action of the boards. Comes right back to Rose in front of the goal. Head ball high underneath the crossbar. 4-0. And they are rolling. Here we go. Shot by Glavin. Goes high. Rose jumps just underneath. You saw fully extended. 6'3". Zlatar couldn't get his hands on it. Hit the underside of the crossbar. Went in. 4-0. And the crowd is loving it.
Nick, 2 goals within just 26 seconds for St. Louis. Goals by Keogh and Rose. Bang, bang style.
Well, that man advantage goal was a very critical one. It kind of broke the trend for the Steamers. Gave them a little bit of confidence. Plus, that third goal was important. They now have maintained the pressure on the Arrows. First goal that they scored in the third quarter. Now they're on the roll. Confidence level is up. The energy is up.
Clavillo. And the crowd again up in arms. Clavillo trying to knock the ball instead. He accidentally kicked Redmond Lane right in the nose.
Last year, those 2 guys were teammates. There we go. Now watch. Fernando goes up. Lane goes down for a head ball. Dangerous play against New York, so it's a seamer ball.
Ty Keogh.
Ty has to have the big game. Remember, we mentioned him as the key here. And he's got to go forward. He's got to score goals. And he's got to produce a running attack for the Steamers.
All right, here's Glavin looking for Bellinger. Glavin over to Lane. Just to recap, Keogh is first from Sendobre at 7:42. Rose his 7th from Glavin at 8:08 to make it 4-0 St. Louis. Keogh's goal, man advantage style. Omar Gomez down into the Steamer zone, cutting right. Off the side of the foot of Jungle, and Ilieski clears it off the far boards for Petcher.
That was a very cute, cheeky play by Steve Jungle. Almost caught the goalkeeper. And in fact, I think some of them could have been fooled by that. This is kind of a trick. Players do that in practice, but Steve has the skill and the confidence to do it in a game at full speed and under pressure of an opponent.
Jungle on the give and go from Gomez is toppled over. Oh, and Gomez took a poke at Bellinger. Ilieski wants a piece of Gomez, and Petcher holds him off. Now Don Ebert and Omar Gomez together, and the benches are clearing. Look at Jungle now, and referee Bill Maxwell. Anatol Popovich, the alternate ref, comes to help out. The initial antagonists, Omar Gomez and Tony Bellinger, and then everybody got into the act. Penalty box doors swing open.
Well, Tony Bellinger was on the receiving end. I don't think he was guilty of anything. He went down, made a legitimate, honest play. And then off the ball, Omar Gomez came up, gave him an elbow. The referee saw it, immediately whipped out his 2-minute card. And Slovo wanted to protect his own teammate. Came running out and trying to protect him. And that's what started the whole chaos. But everything is under control. Omar Gomez, the culprit, is paying 2 minutes in the penalty box. Again, this is where emotions come in. Last, the referee is calling the 2 captains. He wants to make sure that there are no repercussions, no retaliation. Steve Jungle is refusing to go there.
Petcher's there. Jungle says no. There's a break of the action with the score. St. Louis 4, New York 0.
Money market funds seem like a solid investment, but they're not FDIC insured. In a bull market, their interest rates can drop. And taxes could eat up to 50% of what you've earned. In short, they're not as solid as Chemical's tax shelter CD. It's FDIC insured, pays high interest, and could yield up to $2,000 tax-free. Chemical Bank. We've got the bull by the horns.
Jungle finally gave in. There's Steve Dow, and went over. They had their little summit conference in front of the scorer's table. And the St. Louis penalty box door swings open. Jeff Cacciatore going to take a seat. Will hold up and wait for the call. Might be a bench penalty against the Steamers.
That's exactly what it is. It'll be a bench penalty against both teams. The referees are now waiting for New York to send the players to go sit in the bench. The lottery, and it looks like Billy Gazonas will be the winner of the lottery. Not that Billy did anything to deserve it, but instead of being on his team's bench, he will be in the penalty box. Jeff Cacciatore will serve the penalty, the bench penalty for his team. Billy says, no problem. I'll make myself comfortable here for 2 minutes. Hello, Omar.
All of this coming at 10:07 of the third quarter. A long, long delay. Gazonas and Cacciatore, the announcements being made, serving the bench penalties. Gomez was called for charging.
So now both teams are playing with 4 field players and a goalkeeper. Here's where you see a lot of individual good stuff.
Actually, it looks like 4-on-3 for St. Louis.
I'm sorry, you're right, because of Gomez. Gomez is serving the penalty for his foul, plus the bench penalty on each team. So it's 4 against 3 on the field, plus a goalkeeper for each team.
Man advantage for the Steamers, who already lead it 4-0 with 4:25 left in the third quarter. Villa! Thunderous drive is off the mark. Keogh will chase it down. Crossfield to Villa. Passes it back to Keogh. Look out for Rose stalking in front. Back to Villa. Returns to Keogh. He shoots. It's blocked. Rebound is blocked. And Coach just rolls it out to Chila. Chila racing with Ebert. Splits through Ebert and Keogh. And then Ebert gets back.
Friday night, New York scored a goal with a man down. That was their 7th goal to go ahead 7-6. It's a backbreaker. If they get one here, it could change the entire momentum around.
Keogh closing in. Villa tees it up. Oh, and it's put in by Rose. Perfect setup by Villa, and it's 5-0 St. Louis. Man advantage goal for the Steamers. Consecutive goals for one-time New York Arrow Carl Rose.
Carl Rose is having some series. Now watch again, the ball goes to the right side. Winds up at the feet of Rose. He deflects it. Goes underneath the legs of Zoli, who's trying to recover to that side. Again, right there in the right spot. Redirects the flight of the ball. And now goes on the board for the 5th time. And the Steamers are rolling. In fact, they have a full head of steam in this one.
Carl Rose from London, England, but a citizen of Canada, is doing it tonight against his old mates. And Valtucha is hurt. And the fans think that Tucha is putting on some theatrics. 11:26, the time of Rose's 8th from Villa.
Okay, you decide. Now look what happens. Villa gets taken down. See, he hyperextended his knee, and at the same time hit it up against the boards. So the pain was reduced by the boards more so than the hit.
Sammy Vick streaking down, shoots right off the chest of Juan Carlos Bachia. Centering pass by Villa. Back it goes to Vick. He shoots wide. 3:05 left in the third quarter, and now Don Ebert is shaken up. They are falling like flies.
And that's the sore elbow that Donnie sustained on Friday night. Bruised elbow. He was doubtful as to whether or not he was going to play. That's a very painful part of the body.
Down at the other end, Nick, one of the arrows is lying on his back.
That's Juan Carlos. I tell you, ethyl chloride is getting a workout tonight.
My goodness, Bobby Baldwin is too, the Arrows trainer. Right knee of Juan Carlos Mejia.
Here we see Donnie dribbling. Omar Gomez goes down. Now watch, he lands right on the left elbow. Look at the padded elbow. Ouch! You know when you hit your funny bone, when you hit it up against it, that's exactly how that feels. Except more painfully because he's been hurting him for 2 days now.
So as Juan Carlos gets attended to, we'll remind you that tomorrow night at 7 p.m., Sports Channel's longest-running series, Thoroughbred Action, comes your way from Belmont Park with a recap of the day's 9 races. Join racing analysts Harvey Pack and Frank Wire as they call all the action from trackside. Thoroughbred Action only on Sports Channel. Your box seat to the best in New York sports. Mejia is all right. 3:04 remaining in the third. 5-0 St. Louis. Holzer dumps it into the corner. Tony Glavin returns to Holzer, picked off by Mejia, and the Arrows race down. Kazotis just came out after serving the bench penalty. There he is now in the corner. Jeff Cacciatore getting the step on Kazotis. Here's Glavin with Holzer racing in front. And Tough with a good play. Ilieski with Jungle right on top of him. And Omar Gomez right there, too. Here's Karasi now closing in. He shoots, blocked, and saved by Ilieski. Flips it out to Petcher. 2 against 2. 3-on-2 now with Glavin coming down. Petcher shoots, kick save, as Zoltan Toth just kicked out that right foot.
End-to-end action. Karasi comes down on one end. Slobo saves it. Petcher gets the ball, dribbles the length of the field. Totally saves it. Now watch Karasi with a great move right there. See, he rolls the ball, shoots, and the ball actually hits Karasi, but it still counts as a save. I'm not sure what he saved, but the ball did not go into the net.
The rhythmic applause here at the packed Checkerdome. Playoff record crowd in Game 3 of 18,160 will pass along the attendance as soon as we get it. Could be over 18,000 again. Centering for Holzer, he's wide. And Glavin chasing it down. Bick, could be a breakaway for Jungle. Here's Jungle. He shoots. He scores! There goes the shutout for Slobo Ilieski. Steve Jungle gets his 20th playoff goal, and it's 5-1 St. Louis.
Slobo unhappy with himself. I think he sold himself. You know, as great a goalkeeper as he is. Now watch, Steve. It's a one-on-one. The semi-pick is driving him to the outside. Now Slobo should keep his ground. See, he gets it by him on a near post. He was out a little bit too far. Here we get a closer look from the view on top. And again, notice how far out he is. I think it would have been better had he protected a goal. A general rule to a goalkeeper is to one-on-one, stay on your line. That time, I don't think perhaps Slobo thought that Semi could catch up with Zungo.
Back the other way. Here's Jungle again. Pick is back. Steve Jungle. Arrows trailing now by 4. They work it over to Rajavac at the left point. Cuts right on John Hayes, the rookie. Clavillo off to Gomez. Marked very closely by Carl Rose. And Rajavac again. In front of the St. Louis bench. He came together with Hayes. It'll be Arrows ball on the foul by Hayes. Jungle's 20th, unassisted at 13:01 of the third to make it 5-1. Near chance for Karasi, broke it up nicely. Here's Gomez. And Karasi loops it into the seats. So after 2 quick goals by Carl Rose of St. Louis, Steve Jungle comes back, beats Pick and Ilieski to make it 5-1. Here's Slobo from the goal. Right under the Arrows bench, and a good catch by Val Tuchscheck. Mike Ryzhevac kicks it in for Fernando Clavillo. A minute remaining in the third as Gomez bolts it. Over to Clavillo, looking for Gomez on the return. Dumps it out to Karasi. Nice play by Bellinger. And Slobo Ilieski getting pounded. And look at Steve Petcher. Oh, and Steve Jungle jumps on top of Steve Petcher. Gomez also in the middle of that fracas. It all started with Gomez and Ilieski, and then Steve Jungle on top of Petcher. What a wild episode.
Well, Jungle thought that Petcher was manhandling Omar Gomez. Slobo is lying on the ground holding his head, says, oh my gosh, what happened? But what happens is when you don't have possession of the ball, the other player's free to go get it. I think what will happen after all the talking and diplomacy is finished is the Slobo will get up, get back in the back of the nets, and he'll be all right. And everybody in the game will resume. You know, one of the things that happens, had there been a foul, that gentleman right there, Bill Maxwell, would have a couple people in the penalty box now. But it was a loose ball, and Omar was playing it. I think he kicked Slobo, perhaps.
Well, the fans initially getting on Gomez for apparently manhandling Mr. Ilieski. And then Petcher and Jungle came into the picture. The penalty box doors swing open again, and Bill Maxwell and Anatol Popovich conferring on the sidelines to divvy things out. Meanwhile, the St. Louis trainer attending to goalkeeper Slobo Ilieski in the far corner of the St. Louis zone. All this with 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Another long night at the Checkerdome. It is 5-1 St. Louis. Captain Steve Jungle trying to eavesdrop in on the conversation of the officials. It's been a very active night for Steve.
Those three guys are contemplating now what the correct action is. Let's see what started this entire action. A good flick. Now watch, here comes Slobo out to clear. There goes Omar. Now that itself could have been a foul. You see going over the ball. Yeah. Loose ball, he kicks Slobo. Slobo is yelling, ouch. Now watch, Steve Petcher at this point is holding off Gomez. Here comes Captain Z, flying through the air. There he goes, over the top. Now you get the front seat view. Again, loose ball. Gomez delivers a kick. Petcher comes over to restrain Gomez, and Steve Jungle goes flying over the top to protect his teammate. There he is. Wants to make sure that Steve Petcher does not cause any damage.
Now, Nick, from the reaction by the crowd and the reaction by the St. Louis players down on the field, it looks like they're getting the best of the deal, and Maxwell is trying to usher Jungle off the field into the penalty box. And Jungle stands there, hands on hips.
Well, no doubt he has to pay for flying through the air in such a fashion. So they can call it whatever they wish. There is no rule, by the way, Steve, about flying. So they'll have to be charging, unsportsmanlike conduct, you name it, but it'll be a 2-minute penalty against New York. Whether it's that gentleman right there, Omar Gomez, I think Steve Jungle for one will get it for sure.
Are you trying to tell me there is no 2 minutes for flying in the rule books?
Not according to Law 12 of FIFA law. You know, but what's interesting, the fans in this arena are the wildest. There's a policeman down there right next to the New York bench, and it is getting crazy. A couple of years ago, the public announcer in this arena was fired because he went flying onto the field and attempted to strike an official.
Look at this now as Steve Jungle tries to hold off Coach Don Popovich, who's furious. He's trying to get the attention of Bill Maxwell. Look at Pop.
Well, Pop is furious about the behavior of the fans. It is unsafe for his team. And this is what Pop is about. He is taking his team out of the bench. He wants them on the field. It's not a safe place for them to be.
Things just totally out of control now at the Checkerdome.
Well, the problem is that the fans are right on top of the bench.
Look at Popovich.
The fans are right on top of the bench, and there is no place for the players to breathe, to sit, to relax.
He's screaming not only at Maxwell, but at Don Ebert. He is just beside himself. All this again with 48 seconds remaining in what will go down as a very memorable third quarter in MISL championship history. Popovich trying to compose himself, and now he says it's okay for the team to go back to the bench.
Well, what has happened is that Gomez and Zungo will go into the penalty boxes for 2 minutes each, along with Mr. Steve Petcher. So justice has been done. The court has ruled, and now the game can be resumed. The busiest guys in these two games have been the gentleman right there closing the door on each side. The penalty box judges have really had that revolving door. That door has had to be greased several times. With me is Helene Elliott, who will be my guest at the end of the third quarter. She is very, very emotionally drained at this time.
Helene, who is covering the championship series for Newsday, kicked out of there by Toth and Villa as we finally get back to the action. 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Long delay. Villa.
And again, we have a 4-against-3 situation for the Steamers. They have done very well in this quarter. They scored 2 goals in man-advantage situations. And this has really been the difference. The third and the fifth goal came when they were man up.
We follow Greg Villa, a Southern Illinois University product. One of the many St. Louisans on this Steamer roster. Here he is with the ball right now at midfield. He drops it off to Ty Keogh. Keogh streaking past Kitson, centering it for Rose, looking for the hat trick. Back to Villa. Oh, and a rolling save by Zoltan Toth. Diving slap save under the seats.
Greg Villa let it go with a cannon. Zoli was up, fisted it. Watch this tremendous power shot. All of his way behind it. Zoli fisted off to his side. Great landing, beautiful form. Zoltan Toth, one of the best.
4 seconds to go in the quarter. Out it comes to Villa.
And you know, Steve, when I say that he's one of the best, I'm not talking only about the MISL. And the top goalkeepers in the world.
All right, Dick, that'll do it for the third quarter. The end of 3 here at the Checkerdome with the score, the St. Louis Steamers 5 and the New York Arrows 1. Now this crowd has been treated to a wild night here in St. Louis. Goals by Petcher, Glavin, Keogh, 2 by Rose, and then Steve Jungle breaking the shutout bid by Slobo Ilieski with the lone Arrows goal came at 13:01 of the third quarter. So right now, without any further ado, let's throw things over to Nick Zlatar with his special guest. Nick?
With me is Miss Helene Elliott from Newsday. She's done a wonderful job in bringing you the New York Arrows in print. Helene, have you seen a wilder indoor soccer game in your memory?
No, that's for sure. I mean, this has every element that you could possibly ask for in a game. Surprise, an element of an upset, the element of the crowd being so vocal here. It's a terrific place to watch a game, and it's so different from the Coliseum. The crowd really adds so much.
It certainly does, you know, because this crowd totally supports their fans. And I know that you spend a lot of time with the Islanders and a number of other teams. How do you compare this crowd to the Rangers and some of the other experiences you've had?
This rivals the most rabid hockey crowd I've ever seen, like the fans in the Garden during the Ranger Islander series. And just about any crowd I've ever seen. It's really terrific that the city and the crowd has gotten so strongly behind the team.
You know, Helene has a habit of only, well, maybe not only, but basically reporting the champions. Tell us about all the championship teams, including the New York Arrows that you have written about.
Well, I'm sure it has nothing to do with me, but since I've been at Newsday, I've written about the Olympic hockey team at Lake Placid in 1980. I've covered the Arrows the past 2 seasons when they won the championship. I've done a little bit of Islanders last season, and the past season I did a little bit more, so it's kind of, I wonder if any of the coaches know about me. Maybe they'll consider me a lucky charm or something.
I'm sure they do. This is one of the reasons, hopefully, why you're enjoying this one. Helene, let me find out a personal question. You know, you're a woman, this is sports, women's liberation, the whole bit. You know, what happens in the locker room?
I go in, they put on towels, we chat, I leave.
Okay, another thing, you know, everybody wants to know. Everybody.
No, I don't do any comparison shopping.
No, I was going to ask that question. But how does one become a newspaper reporter in sports? You know, this is a glamorous job. People love it. And I'm sure kids always come up and ask you about it. How did you get started?
Misfortune. The whole way. No, I always wanted to be a sports writer, even when I was a kid and there weren't any other women in the field. And I was just very lucky when I came out of college that the field was opening up to women. And I worked in Chicago, and now I'm at Newsday and having a great time.
Okay, great. And when you read those articles in Newsday about the New York Arrows, any other local professional sports, this is the lady that brings it to you. Helene Elliott, thanks very much. Well, who do you think is going to win?
Team that scores more goals.
She really goes on a limb every time. I love her. Right back to Steve.
All right, thank you, Nick and Helene. Here's a look at one of the 5 St. Louis goals. This one, the last provided by Carl Rose. The tip-in from Greg Villa. Now, this is the one that broke the shutout bid for Slobo Lieski as Steve Jungle broke in on Sammy Vick, and he put it home. 5-1 as we head into the 4th quarter. Again, our thanks to Helene Elliott of Newsday for joining us up here in the booth with Nick. Another call by Maxwell, and quickly heading into the penalty box is Greg Villa. Greg Villa sitting down alongside Steve Petcher. So he goes off for 2 minutes. 9th penalty of the night. Tripping penalty on Villa. Steamers up 5-1, 14:40 remaining. It is 3 against 3. So look for some wide open play now. Donnie Ebert and Juan Carlos Mejia toe-to-toe. Fans screaming for a foul by Mejia, no call. Rose, who has 2 goals. Rose moving in, he shoots. Great save. Zoltan Toth coming up with a great one as Rose puts the steal on Mejia. His rebound is into the seats. Looking for the hat trick. Carl Rose frustrated.
The ball just gets away from J.C. Mejia. Here comes Rose. Tries to dance away. Goes for the side. And then Renato Gilles there to clear. Skies it over the top. Carl Rose, I think, is one of the unexpected heroes for the Steamers.
Began his MISL career with the New York Arrows in 78-79 when the Arrows won their first championship. This is his 3rd year with St. Louis. Here's Paul Kitson now. Closing in on Tony Bellinger, cuts to his right, rams it off the boards, nobody home for the rebound.
You know, Carl played 44 games and scored 11 goals during the regular season. And now he's got 8 goals in 9 games.
Gomez, Petcher, and Jungle out of the box. Kitson breaking in, loose ball right at the side, and Ilieski ball handling it off the boards. Bellinger there, along with Gomez. Now here's Redmond Lane. Lane breaks free, 1 against 3, maintains his balance, and he socks it back to Bellinger.
The Steamers are really playing outstanding soccer, individually as well as collectively.
Paul Kitson toppling over Tony Bellinger. They almost went at it.
Here you get to see it. Tony Bellinger, number 6. Omar takes him down, and you notice Paul Kitson gets raffled up. Unintentional. They ran into each other. At the end, they shake hands.
This is a man advantage situation for New York. 5-on-4. And the Arrows trailing by 4 goals, 5-1.
Well, the stage was set. This was a win situation for the Steamers. They have their backs against the wall. They have to come up with a W. New York wants to end it right here. Why go home if you can come up with a cup right out of here?
Game 5, if necessary, Wednesday, May 26th at the Nassau Coliseum. Kickoff time 8:05. Tony Bellinger. Now here's Stranicer. Put down by Lane, no call. Steve Shungle has the only Arrows goal. Tips it over to Gomez. Kitson in front for Shungle. And it's cleared out of there. Steve Petcher gets it all the way down.
But Greg Miller was poaching. He was just came out of the box. Steve saw him coming out, almost got a quickie goal.
Kitson dumps it right through the crease. And Greg Villa gets the step on Gene Stranicer. 1-on-3. Look at Villa go. Back it goes to Cacciatore, a left footer. Cleared by Zoltan, all the way down to Jungle. 3-on-2 for the Arrows. Jungle dumps it off the corner boards for Gomez. Back to Steve. Jungle shoots. He hits the post. Gomez shoots. It's off the mark. And Glavin looking to get it past Tuchia. And Tuchia is down. And the Steamers can't believe the call against their team. They thought Tuchia should have won an Emmy.
And you can see those people screaming over the glass. But no doubt, that was a trip against by Tony Glavin against Tuchia.
Karasi pressured by little Jeff Cacciatore at 5'4", 125. But he's been powerful here in this series, particularly the last 2 games. Gomez, Stranicer. Karasi awaits by the point. Now here's Gomez, top of the penalty area. He lets play, scores! Arrows have cut the deficit to 3. It's 5-2 St. Louis. Omar Gomez scores his 11th playoff goal. Comes off the hat-trick game. Freddie.
And you know, he does this better than anyone else. He and Steve Jungle have the knack. Now watch, he gets the ball. Now he doesn't shoot hard. He curves the ball with the inside of his foot. He knows the corner, curves it around. Nice and easy, just tucks it into that traffic. Listen to Shell, look at all those legs that are blocking the goalkeeper's view. Shoots between the attacker's legs, the defender's legs, rather, Steve Petcher's legs, and finds that corner. He and Stan Stamenkovic from Memphis can do that better than anyone else.
Gomez able to just thread the needle.
You see, so for the young players, the key is you don't have to always shoot hard. Accuracy is more important.
All right, so it's 5-2 St. Louis with 11:17 remaining in the 4th quarter. Can the Arrows do it again and come back? They were down by 3, although it was much earlier in the game on Friday, and came back to win in overtime. Tuchia and Vick. Here's a whistle. And a holding call against Val Tuchia.
If the Arrows can get their 3rd goal within the next minute or 2, this will really become pandemonium.
There's a call going against St. Louis. Here's a steal by Glavin. Glavin rolling in. Rajavac with a good defensive play. Mike Rajavac now looking to clear it out of danger. He gets it over to Gomez. He's got Karasi streaking in on the left. Rajavac on the right delivers the ball to Stan Karasi. Back it goes to Gomez. The dangerous Omar Gomez broken up by Carl Rose ahead to Glavin, racing with Clavillo, and Glavin is put down, and the crowd booing Clavillo.
But there was no problem. The referee had called a foul. Clavillo did, this is what's called a professional foul. He was committed into attack, got burned. So what he did was push him in, committed a foul, rather than have him have Glavin go one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Nice play by Clavillo on defense as Jungle brings it over to the midfield line. Taps it over to Fernando, over to Rajavac.
But just a mistake that Clavillo made. They cannot afford to overcommit. You've got to keep one guy back for balance. Otherwise, the Steamers will get a 6th goal and then you're back in the hole.
10 minutes remaining. John Ebert loops it too high and wide. Ebert again in front for Holzer. Oh, and Zoltan Koh smothers the loose ball.
That's the second one off the line. Not as questionable as the first one.
Ebert to Villa, too long. Karasi closing in on Villa, and Reiserback takes it away.
Here we get to see it again. Almost right there. Look at that line.
Back to the action. Machia's pass behind Jungle. 9:15 remaining in the fourth. 5-2 St. Louis. Game number 4, this best of 5. Arrows looking to clinch the championship, leading 2 games to 1, but trailing by 3. Machia has plenty of room. Looking for Jungle. Foul Rose finds Greg Villa. Now here's Keel.
New York putting everything in attack, but the last 2 times up the field, they were shooting from a little bit too far out. Remain poised, patient. There's still plenty of time to go.
Here's a steal by Chila. Renato Chila darting down into the St. Louis zone. He's got Jungle to the right, cuts to his left. His shot is partially deflected, and out it comes. Redmond Lane to John Stremlau. Steve Petcher at the red line. Loops it over to Lane in the corner, marked by Chila. Back outside to Petcher. They're playing keep away.
Yeah, New York has to put more pressure on the ball. Can't give all that time to the Steamers to fool around and maintain possession of the ball.
Lane goes wide. His shot is off the mark. Looking for somebody in front, perhaps, and it was John Stremlau who couldn't get a foot on it. Down it comes to Paul Kitson. Marked by Steve Petcher. Cuts to his left. Feeds Jungle. Jungle dances around, and it's taken away. Good play by Bellinger, anticipating. Diagnosed the pass by Jungle very well. 7:33 on the clock. 5-2. St. Louis looking to even up this championship series and send it to the deciding game Wednesday night at the Nassau Coliseum. Glavin rolls left on Chila. Banks it high off the boards, and St. Lot will flag it down.
Time is now becoming to be the favorite of the Steamers. 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go.
What a steal by Redmond Lane. Acrobatic steal. He shoots. He scores. That was a thing of beauty. All the way by Redmond Lane. To 2, St. Louis.
Last summer, Redmond Lane played with United. Now he's a St. Louis Steamer. What a great goal. I think that may have been the final nail in the tonight's coffin for the New York Arrows. The 6th goal, 7:05 remaining. Look, John dribbles down. A great sliding tackle. Redmond Lane goes up, dribbles, beats the defender here, and tucks it away past the diving Zoli. The 6th goal, unassisted, and the Steamers lead 6-2. I don't think that New York can come back. Less than 7 minutes to go. It's only a 4-minute lead unless the Steamers totally break down. They need to just maintain their poise, continue attacking, but conservatively. And they've got the 4th game. Here again, we see him dribble past Renato Chila, shoots low, far post underneath the diving keeper, and you can see the screaming fans as they delight in the 6th goal of the Steamers.
Lane's 3rd playoff goal unassisted at 7:55 to make it 6-2 St. Louis. Redmond Lane out of Cork City, Ireland. Ty Keogh can't maneuver in. St. Louis goes down, and the foul on the Steamers, drawing the ire of this crowd. And it's going to be a penalty, a tripping call by Bill Maxwell.
Yes, Ty Keogh will go into the penalty box. Tripping call. He took St. Louis. And now New York will have a man advantage. as quickly as things happen here, it's only 6 minutes, 36 seconds remaining. 4 goals is not impossible, but St. Louis has played very well. There you saw the trip. That was the cause of the foul.
This is going to sound wild, but you can never say no. Look at Jungle the other night, scored 2 goals within 7 seconds. And now, of course, the Arrows have the man advantage, so trailing by 4, we'll see what happens. Gomez. 6:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Here's Redmond Lane again, but Kucha tackles him off the ball. Maxwell blows the whistle. They don't play on. It'll be New York ball in front of the St. Louis bench. Tuksha, Karasi, Gomez, Liverich, and Kitson on the field for the Arrows. Man advantage. Here's Gomez. He shoots. Slapped into the crowd by Slobo Olieski. That was right on.
It was on target, but a good deflection by Slobo. Too hot to handle. Deflected it over the goal. Better to give up a corner kick.